Hey, this is Joel Comm, the co-founder of PlanetSLY.com, a dope limited edition series inspired by the one and only Sylvester Stallone. I am on the edge of NFT, the podcast, and yo, Adrian, you gotta listen to this podcast. Stay tuned.
Hey there, NFT curious listeners. Stay tuned for today's episode and find out what inspired Sly Stallone to jump into the ring with NFTs and what kind of knockout he's planning to deliver.
And how today's guest thinks about utility and what it means for the future of NFT projects.
And why BandNFTs are a groundbreaking hybrid of Spotify and OpenSea. All this and more on today's episode. Enjoy. Welcome to the Edge of NFT podcast with your hosts, Jeff Kelly, Ethan Janney, and Josh Krieger. We aim to bring you not only the top 1% of what's going on with NFTs today, but what will stand the test of time. We explore the nuts and bolts and the business side, but also the human element of how NFTs are changing the way we interact with the things that we love. This podcast is for the futurists and dreamers, the disruptors and creators, the fans and connectors, and the makers and doers that are pumped about this ecosystem and driving where it goes next.
Today's episode features Joel Comm, the co-founder of PlanetSLY, Sylvester Stallone's first NFT project, which creates a limited edition series that punches the Ethereum blockchain in the face. Created by Stallone himself, PlanetSLY is a community that will provide events, benefits, and many other utility-based opportunities for its holders. Joel is an internet pioneer, best-selling author, international keynote speaker, and the co-host of two top cryptocurrency and blockchain podcasts. He and his partners have minted just, like 1.5 million NFTs and now advise projects and companies in the blockchain, NFT, play to earn, and metaverse spaces, and have quite a bit of fun while doing it. Joel, hey, welcome to Edge of NFT.
It's good to be back. We were talking offline that it's been like I was on episode 12-ish, I think is what we decided. So it's been about a year, and great to see you guys growing and expanding your reach and talking about these NFTs we love so much.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's hard to believe 113 episodes have flown by in like literally less than a year. And it was super cool to get a little sneak peek of this drop at NFTLA for anyone that had a chance to go over there. They might have seen Sylvester on the main stage do a little virtual cameo. And,
he opened the main stage, man. He was the first one on the big screen right there.
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing arts entertainment. We're in LA. You got to start with Stallone, right? And ever since then, I've been wanting to unpack this drop and super excited to learn more. So thanks, Joel. So we got 9,997 Sly Guys popping over to your nearest computer in May. What are these Sly Guys and how did this project take shape, man?
So my partner, Bill Zanker, who those of us who have been around for a while might know from the Learning Annex, used to put on these arena events all over the country and would welcome celebrity and former president speakers to be headliners. They'd pack 20,000 people in there, and Bill's just a pro at putting on his events with his team. And so he's got a long-standing relationship with Sly. He had listened to our podcast, The Nifty Show, and it was like, hey, how do we bring some celebs into the space and bring value to their fans so they can connect with them. And I said, I got just the ticket. Let's put together a piece of generative art. Let's bring on a world-class designer. And so we hired Clark Mitchell, who does, you've seen his artwork. You just don't necessarily know it because he's the guy who works for Disney and Hasbro and does boxes for like Monopoly games and stuff. So if you've ever bought a Star Wars Monopoly game, it was probably done by Clark Mitchell, the incredibly talented designer. And his son Cameron works with him, and said, let's create these cool generatives that are inspired by the life and films of Sylvester Stallone. I mean, this guy's done 5 decades of movies and has portrayed, fighters and military veterans and gangsters and cops and just, he's like America's favorite inspirational action hero. And so many people just love and respect Sly. And we're like, all right, let's create these generative NFTs that have all these cool attributes and characteristics. And we're working directly with OpenSea. They're going to be doing an auction of 25 one-of-one golden editions. And it was super important to Sly that he connect with his fans. You know, if you check him out on Instagram, he's always walking around his place there in Florida and inspiring people. And so the goal here is to not just give people cool NFTs that are each going to be unique, but also with real life deliverables so that Sly can connect with his fans in a tangible way.
It's cool, man. I mean, you do shows like your podcast and our podcast, and you learn a thing or two about how to build real community and how to create real utility and how to have fun with drops. And it sounds like, you know, this drop has a lot of your sort of I guess fairy dust from being in this space for so long, all over it, combined with you know, Sly and who he is as a human being and as a living icon.
Yeah, you know, I think that's why Bill came to me, is because he's seen that, you know, we've minted over 1.5 million NFTs of our own original properties. What could we do working with, you know, talent like himself? So after he signed on, got to go to Florida and meet with him. And this is back when I had my moving to the beach hair, my long hair.
Nice.
And spent a couple hours with him. And what's interesting is those Life magazines that had just come out that week on the newsstand. We didn't even know. We saw them on the newsstand. We picked up a half a dozen of them that were there and brought them to him that day. And so I've got an autographed one, and Bill's got one. There's a couple others floating around here with the team. And he was tremendous, very humble, very likable, very down to earth. And I needed to persuade him, though, a little bit that NFTs were the right thing for him. So you could see how I did that.
A sock in the jaw. Wow.
A little sock in the jaw. Pulled that off.
Left hook, man.
It's a tough one.
And you know, the smile on your face while you're hitting him too. It's just like, it's so easy.
Yeah. You guys, if you're listening to the show, you got to go see the video of this.
Video, nice.
Yeah. This is the point where you pause the listening experience, hopefully not while you're driving, and you go over to our YouTube and you see that just those two pictures are going to be worth it, guys.
Yeah. Totally. And by the way, I'm thinking of changing the direction of this whole mint. We need to include minting your beach hair, because that, my friend, is some very nice locks you had in those images. Yeah.
It was inspired by COVID, but then further inspired by moving to Puerto Rico. And so it was the longest time that I didn't cut my hair. I think it was 14 or 15 months. And then one day I walked up to the barber and I said, take it all off. And he looked at me funny. And I said, no, my hair. And I ended up with, like, pretty much you could make a small dog out of what came from my head onto the floor.
Nice.
Good, man.
Yeah, I got to ask a follow-up on the genesis of this thing. You know, one of the things that we'd seen, especially once we start kind of intersecting, like the actors, even though Sylvester Stallone's much more than an actor, director, producer, writer, but with studios and ownership of IP and navigating all of that, did you guys have to work through anything like that as it related to the characters that you're portraying in the NFTs, or the relationship to the movies, which has, you know, some kind of ownership, I'm sure, at the studio level as well?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime you're dealing with talent, there's lawyers involved. And so these NFTs are inspired by Stallone, his life and his characters, but you're not going to see any that are, you know, replicas of those actual characters. You know, we changed up the designs on them and gave him items that were unique to the NFT collection. But the spirit of it, I mean, there's no doubt when you look, hey, this is Sly. You look at his face, you're like, there's nobody like this guy. Who, you know, how many of us have gone to Philadelphia and gone up the steps there, you know, with our arms in the air. And what's really cool is in the Discord, which is discord.gg/PlanetSLY. The people in there are sharing, stories. They're sharing fan art, and they're making videos. They're showing Sly love. That's what we're calling it to get whitelisted. Like, tell us your story, make a 30-second video, post it on TikTok. Tell us, what inspired you, what film inspired you most, what character, what line, maybe do an impression, give us a yo Adrian. We don't want people just getting on the whitelist to flip these. We want fans. Sly wants to connect with the millions of fans out there. And so by showing Sly love, it's like, yeah, you're putting in an actual effort to say, I want one of these Sly Guys. And I'll tell you what, the real world benefits that are going to come is what's really going to excite the collectors. If you collect any 3 Sly Guys and have them in your wallet by snapshot date to be announced, you're going to get a ticket to a private dinner in Miami that Sly is going to host. He's going to be there. He's going to speak. He's going to have dinner there. What an awesome opportunity, to hear inspiration in the room with him. And we're working with OpenSea to present 25 one-of-one Goldens that are autographed. He actually signed 25 times, numbered each one of them digitally, and they're placed onto these Goldens that are each unique. And if you have one of those, you're going to get a private VIP experience at the dinner in Miami. So you'll get a meet and greet and photograph, shake his hand and talk to him, for a minute and just really connect with him. And those are just the beginning of the IRL experiences and physical and digital goods that we hope to deliver to Sly Guy holders.
Oh, that's awesome, man. It reminds me that we were working on one celebrity chef related one where we were doing some fun stuff around a dinner like that. So theoretically, I mean, you got 9,997. Theoretically, you could have a few thousand people at that dinner ready to rock out. Obviously, it's a much lower number based on who will travel and who will actually grab 3, right? But that's super cool. And I wanted to ask, are those different? Is gold different from the signature, or is that the signature?
Yeah, the signature versions are the golden versions. In fact, I'll pull a few of those up here and give you a taste of that, and then we can go through some of the other ones that are in the collection.
I actually want to talk about that one that was just up there with like the hunter's hat and the dog, because that one was really dope.
That was pretty cool. So here's a sample of one of the Goldens. This is numbered number 5. And you can see there that he's got, it's a golden Sly Guy.
That's pretty solid.
Unique attributes, and it's got his signature, and you could see he's numbered it. And of course, this will be mint number 5. So numbers 1 through 25 will actually be mint number 1 through 25 through the OpenSea auction that takes place. So we're really excited to be partnering with the guys at OpenSea. Sly is going to be front and center on launch day, and people will be able to purchase to bid on the Goldens, and then the mint, which will come publicly at PlanetSLY.com, will be for the remaining variations. And we're looking around mid-May for the mint date. The Discord's growing really quickly. We're up to 18,000 already, and the word is really getting out there. So we expect a lot of demand for these, and it's going to be challenging for people to, even necessarily get 3. They're going to have to really, want it to be able to get those, because we want to make sure as many people as possible can own a Sly Guy.
So the auction, how is that going to work? Is it like a declining price auction, or just highest bid, or
I do not have it's a great question, and I wish I had the specific answer to it yet. I think the team is still speaking with OpenSea on exactly how that's going to work, so more details on that forthcoming. And if you get into the Discord, there's a great place to ask those questions there.
Yeah,
this is the one you were talking about here with the blue dog.
Is this
awesome?
Yeah, tell me about this one.
Sly, like, he requested this. This collection.
Is this go back to the story of him like selling his dog when he was like broke?
I think that's got something to do with it. He's so inspirational, right? Because the guy, he was broke. None of these studios wanted to take on the Rocky script, and he was so certain that this was a winning script that he sold his dog. In order to feed, himself at that time. And of course, he ended up producing the movie himself, and then he went and bought back the dog.
Yeah.
I mean, what a bad.
Yeah. The story was, he wanted himself to also be in the movie. I think it was. And they were like, oh, we like the script. We'll keep that, but you're not going to be in the movie. He's like, no, and they were going to give him a significant amount of money for that, but he just had to turn it down, like based on his,
That's right.
true dream, coming true. But yeah. And I think his dog was like the only thing he had.
Yeah. Yeah. You told the story better because you're more accurate. So I appreciate that.
But it's actually a very nice looking in it. Yeah. I love the colors of it.
Yeah.
I love the bright colors in the,
it's a rare dog. There's actually 2 dogs in the collection, and there's the other one right there with the ski goggles on, and there's a bunch of different faces. Some of them he's got a black eye, some of them he's really battered and got 2 black eyes. He's got different hair. He's got things for his head. He's got some accessories. I think there's a close to 100 torsos with different colored sweaters and t-shirts, long sleeve, short sleeve, jackets, all kinds of gear. There's a lot of pants and shorts. The left hand and right hand are their own distinct attributes, and the backgrounds as well. And you can kind of see how it changes up. He's even got tattoos on torsos, and some of the tattoos you won't be able to see because they're under a long sleeve shirt. It's the only time I've recommended that we have an invisible attribute in an NFT, because it makes perfect sense that he could have a tattoo that you can't visibly see.
Very, very cool. And we should tell the listeners we're pumped. We're gonna grab some of these guys and appreciate the opportunity to be involved in this project, because we're all fans of Sly and fans of you. It's two icons in the space coming together. Let me ask you a question about the drop. There's some really sophisticated thinking here. To what extent do you feel that what you've learned from doing the show and being in the space the last year, in particular, where there's been so much evolution in the NFT space, has sort of influenced your thinking on how you execute this drop? And what are some of the things, like, for example, that you are doing here that maybe you just wouldn't have even thought about 6 months ago?
I think utility is essential now, right? Especially with these generative PFP projects. People want more than just a profile picture. These NFTs become tickets to experiences. And so we're hiding some surprises in here. Once we hit 100% on sale, which we think is going to happen really quickly, we're going to have announcements to make. There's going to be people that are holding IRL deliverables in their NFT, and they might not necessarily know that item, for example, this guy here, is wearing a very specific helmet. He's got a very specific, microphone in a hand. He's got a photo in a hand. Any of these items could end up being a deliverable for a physical good, a digital good, something for the community, a real life experience. And we're not going to reveal what those are right away. It's going to be up to the community to kind of speculate about, hey, what could this be? Does having a Molotov cocktail or a painted face mean something? I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. But what I've learned is that adding utility on an ongoing basis, not just coming out of the gate with it and saying, okay, this is what you're going to get, but having that mystery behind, hey, what's possible here? How does Sly continue to connect with his fans beyond the initial launch of this? And that's what's really got me excited about NFTs. Is it is a loyalty card that can keep giving. And look at this. Look how badass he is there. He's got the spear, he's got the gun. He's like, I don't need no pants. I got my shorts. I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna take it on. You always got to do the voice, by the way. That's part of the deal.
Glad you're doing it, because you're probably better than me.
In the collection, there's also 6 unique complete one-of-ones that we have titles for. Like the one you're looking at right here is the Prisoner. And so, like, everything in the gear there, it is a singular character. It's not a mix and match of different attributes. This is the race car driver. This one here is the gangster. This guy is the veteran. And then this one, really unique one of one, it's the award winner. And so, there's going to be chances for people to get some really unique pieces out of this. We're excited about the collection. And once you jump in the Discord, you'll see people are really hype. They love Sly and they cannot wait to mint these.
Yeah, the utility aspect, it just reminded me of our Spirit Seed NFTs, which we handed out. And to be honest, it was a utility that we let people know about, but I don't think they realize the impact of when they got their free tickets to NFTLA. And as you said, if they could be there live, they could utilize it. If they couldn't, potentially they could trade it or pass it along to a friend, stuff like that. So those are really fun surprises, and always like leave a bunch of people kicking themselves.
Yeah. And like, as I'm thinking about it, sorry, Ethan, to cut you off.
No problem.
Like some of the gifts that we gave people, like one of the guys that won one of the spirit coins from Nicole Buffett. I mean, he owns a restaurant in LA,
Hollywood,
and a really amazing Thai restaurant, Emporium Thai. We'll have to go there when you're on this side of the country. But this is his first time buying an NFT, and now he's got this physical item that he gets to hold that's worth like 2 or 3 ETH on top of all this other utility. And I think as we're thinking about this, Joel, I mean, we're building bridges here to the mainstream. When you take an iconic figure like Sly and you throw in that physical experience, I think that probably connects a lot of dots for a lot of people.
It really does, that to the wise people who think that NFTs are just right click save as and, oh, now I own your NFT. It's okay. They don't have to understand it right now. They will, and they will when it's somebody that they're following, right? The way to onboard people in NFTs is, oh, NFTs stink, until their favorite band or musician does it. Like, oh, I want that because I connect with them, their favorite TV show, their favorite actor, whatever it is. People are going to find their points of connection, and then they're going to see the value. And that's how we're going to mainstream and onboard people into the space. And, Sly is a great avenue to do that. He's got millions of people following him on Instagram. He's really excited about the set. And I think that we're going to bring a bunch of new people in that love Sly, that are following it, and say, okay, I don't understand these, but I want that. So help me to get it. And we'll teach them how to use MetaMask. We'll teach them how to get Ethereum in their wallet and help them to treasure this. I hope for many people that this is their first profile picture NFT, and that they will use it proudly on their Twitter and their Instagram and their other social accounts.
So we touched upon a little bit earlier, just kind of the intricacies of having to deal with, a movie star or whatever, and IP, all that stuff. But I'd love to get your perspective, since you've dropped so many NFTs, right? Like, what's the process like, filtering, who you might partner with, subject matter artists and all that kind of stuff. I think it'd be fascinating to hear a little bit of your perspective, having had such an inside look at things.
Well, it's, when you're dealing with somebody high profile, it's a lot more intricate than when you're doing something on your own. When we created Blockchain Heroes and minted them on Wax, it's me and Travis and Zach and Jarek, right? It's 4 of us, and we're directing everything, and we're not going to anybody to ask for permissions, and get approval. We're driving that car, and we take it where we want to go. So it's a lot simpler. When you're dealing with a high level personality, there's things to watch out for. There's a lot of, there's lawyers involved, and there's trademarks and studios and copyrights, and it just takes more effort. Also, where it was simple for us to mint on Wax, Ethereum's a little bit more complicated. And so we've partnered with the company Galaxis, which you might know as Ether.cards initially, and Andras and his team, they're fantastic. One of the things I love about their technology is that on Ethereum, they're able to build in a switch that tells you whether or not a redeemable has been redeemed on an NFT. A lot of times something will come out with a redeemable, and then they'll sell it on the secondary market after they've redeemed it. The person buying it doesn't know, oh, that's already been redeemed. But using Galaxis technology, you'll be able to see clearly what is attached to the NFT that is still a redeemable item and what hasn't. I love that. They're a great team. They're our partner on this. And of course, partnering with OpenSea, that's new, working with the biggest marketplace in the world by a long shot, and having them put us front and center. For anybody who hasn't heard about the drop by then, boy, they're going to, because they've got all the eyeballs there. And so, that's different. Of course, working with partners, there's a lot of back and forth and compromise. I think we should do this. I think we should do that. And, you learn and you play nice with others.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I could think, like with projects like this. It's so almost so exciting for everyone from the beginning. It just becomes this like pile of ideas, and everybody gets excited, and they have their favorites, and then you have to do the process of pruning and approving and all that stuff.
Yeah, you could actually see here, here's our team right here. Sly is the battalion commander, and Bill Zanker, founder of
Nice.
Learning Annex, his son Dylan, Sam Del Canto, and Chris Murray, who have been by his side on his team. They're all fantastic, super smart and generous people. And there's my specific Sly guy, and we're all working together to make this reality. And we're convinced that it's going to be a huge sale. They're going to go quickly. We really want as many people as possible to be able to get theirs. We don't want this to be, hey, the whales come in and snag them all. But you got to get into the Discord and get on the Sly list to make sure that you are in the queue for these.
Awesome. And the midday or shortly thereafter, once all the craziness ends, is the kind of like reward for all of that negotiation.
Right. The reveal will come.
Together.
Of course, the Goldens, you'll know exactly what you're bidding on for the Goldens. They'll be clear because they're numbered 1 through 25. You'll see exactly who the characters are, and you'll be able to go to OpenSea to bid on those auctions. The remaining ones, there'll be a certain number minted for Sly and for the team and for some of our partners, and then there'll be those that the public is minting. All of those will be together random, and there'll be a reveal several days after the collection sells out, and that's when the real fun begins. Right, because that's for Sly when the connecting with his fans is really going to take place.
We'll be waiting patiently for it. Looking forward to that, man. Thanks for sharing all the deets on that.
Yeah.
So look, you're at the tip of the spear of Web3 NFT world. Where are you drawing inspiration from these days? We love to always share this with our listeners.
Just like you guys, we get so many emails from other projects, and to be candid, it takes a lot to get me excited. I want to see innovation. I want to see people taking NFTs to the next level in utility. That's why I insisted as part of this team that I don't want to just do a PFP project. This has got to deliver and continue delivering. I love to sit around with Travis, my co-host, and we ideate on, what if we did this? What if we did that? I try not to watch too closely what others are doing, because I never want to be accused of copying what anybody else has done. There's enough crazy ideas going on in my own imagination right now. There's no short supply of them. And I kind of feel like I need a breather after this particular launch to sit back and just enjoy playing with my own NFTs, which is what I do. I mint other people's NFTs all the time. I've got my own collection, and it's, just like we used to play with our toys when we were, little boys and girls. I look at my NFTs, and I guess we can consider that playing with them.
Yeah. So just based on your, lack of, trying to be original with everything, just have to ask. So we just talked about this. Did the idea of the Sly Ape Club ever come onto the table, just as like a really poorly researched idea?
No, I'm, apes are great. I've got no problem with apes. And there's a lot of derivatives out there, but no, this was always going to be a Stallone inspired collection to be close to him. And so, there's only 9,997 Sly Guys ever. Think about that. We talk about these collections that have 10,000 PFPs, and we're like, well, there's plenty to go around for everybody. But I like to look at NFTs through the lens of the future. I've collected all kinds of things: comic books, vintage software, Star Wars cards. And when you look at them at the time, you're like, oh, well, these aren't worth a whole lot. But over time, when you look at NFTs from the future, I think that these collections that have just 10,000, when you've got several million, 50 million, 100 million people, wow, this is the OGs of the space. These collections, some of them which didn't sell out at the time, they only minted 1,500 of 10,000. Don't you think some of those are going to be revived and come back as this was thought of as a failure at the time, but now these are super rare, and we don't know which of those they're going to be. But a lot of these collections that might have DAOs or don't even have one in the future, a DAO could form around a defunct collection out of nowhere. 30 years from now, that could happen. Somebody can come along and say, oh, this, these zombie, whatever they are, octopuses, we love them and we're forming a DAO around people who hold these, and we're going to deliver this to them. That's mind-blowing to me, that anybody at any time can bring value to any collection. It doesn't have to come from the creators.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of projects that go down below the cost of gas to unload them. But at the same time, when you think about like fast forwarding 5 years, are you gonna have more regret if you sold like a killer collection that has the potential to be worth a lot more and to like bring you joy and happiness, or are you gonna more regret if you don't sell it and it goes up and it goes down a little bit? I think at the end of the day, it just makes sense to trust your gut and buy projects that you really believe in and sort of go into it with the long-term mentality, or buy a couple of them and at least make sure you hold your favorite, right?
Yeah, you do you. You know, short-term thinking in the NFT world is a cancer. It really is. People have developed this popcorn microwave mentality. You know, when moon, they expect that as soon as it sells out, the floor is going to rocket. And if it falls below that, oh no, team, do something. And I see immaturity rampant in the space. There's no sense of actually allowing time to pass. You know, it used to be, my parents would buy stock, and if they got 10% returns a year, they were doing really well. That was a solid investment. Now you have people out there expecting 10x overnight. And I'm like, wow, these people have not tasted the real world, because that's a rare anomaly. You know, you're not going to have moonbirds all the time. It's just not going to happen.
That's a fact, man. Same thing with even interest rates, right? Shit, it's 5%. It's through the roof.
Right.
No, bro, historically, it's like still disgustingly low to our benefit. But dude, I wanted to highlight one thing that you said earlier, because you don't hear it that much. And that was just like using the reference to toys, you know, and thinking about the NFTs and kind of spending time with them and playing with them and going through them, right? It's hard if you have a lot. And for those of us that have been fans of NFTs for a while, we got a lot. It's hard to keep track of what's happening with all of them. And so it is an interesting way to think about it. I'm going to crack this thing out and take a look at it, see what's going on in the community. I'm going to play with it. I'm going to get in the Discord. I'm going to look at the utility. I'm going to, just indulge in this like experience with this particular NFT for this amount of time and give my attention to it.
And how many times, Jeff, have you gone back to a project and go, oh, there's staking now, or, oh, there's a game I can play, or I can earn tokens. It's like you're surprised to discover, hey, this team actually followed through and built something. So when I buy stuff, I just put my trust in the team, and that there's going to be some rugs. There's going to be some that fail, at least at that time. There's going to be some that are going to take a lot longer to develop, but through the lens of the future, if they are honest people and they intend to follow through, I think most people are going to be happier than not, unless the whole market falls apart. And there's always that quid pro quo. If the economy fails, NFTs are going to fail as well, at least for a time.
That is a fantastic segue to our next segment on a hot topic that we both will appreciate.
I meant to do that.
Nice. Barnaby, would you like to join us?
There he is. What's up, buddy?
Hey. Yeah, so, great to be here. We're fully on?
We're fully on and ready to chat.
We're on. And, Barnaby was also an early guest, I think, episode 8, if I'm not mistaken. And at that time, you had a chance to share with us some pretty epic technology you're building to sort of revolutionize the music industry. And you've been like doing that. And, it's a great allusion to what Joel said. Sometimes this test takes a little while to get it right. And you've been building in stealth mode for a long time now. So tell us, what are you launching this month? We want to know.
Hey, great to be here. And I'm just thrilled for the timing. Like, it's been a year since I was last on the show. And it's been a year since we've been working on and building out Band Royalty. And a year that I've been also having Joel with us as part of our core team. And a year since you guys bought one of those NFTs as one of our first investors. So it's a really just coming together.
And by the way, this was not a setup. Joel didn't know that Barnaby was going to be the hot topic. So he kind of kept that as a fun little surprise.
Sweet. I did not know. And I was like, hey, I've worked with Barnaby. And you're like, yeah, I know. Duh. Okay.
It's part of the utility of coming on the show, you know.
Right.
Well,
Absolutely.
also,
Oh, yeah, we
also as a
really-
follow-up, we realized earlier, right? We're building our next NFT project, the Living Tree NFTs. We decided to bake in some icons for the first 50 episodes of the podcast. And so you two guys will be represented within that collection. Barnaby, you got a little 8-bit record, right? For the band royalty. Joel, a little 8-bit podcast microphone. And so you guys, we can announce officially, we'll be giving you each one of those NFTs when we launch that project soon.
Yay.
Yeah. And also to offer like a fun opportunity for folks to connect. Like if somebody gets an NFT with the icon of your episode, they can connect with your projects, so on and so forth. It'd be an interesting way that we can connect and build the ecosystem. So fun stuff.
Fantastic. That's awesome.
So
Just thrilled to be part of all that.
Well, speaking of thrilled, what are you thrilled at in terms of what you've built here? Tell us what's been going on here.
Well, you're spot on about it being in stealth mode. I mean, we did actually sell $1 million worth of NFTs last year as part of the sort of stealth private sale, you could say. And from that was how we started BandRoyalty.com, with this vision that my business partner, Noble Dracon, had for many years, because he comes from a hedge fund background, and he's been investing in music royalties for over 2 decades and going back into the 90s. So he had this vision all along on how could we democratize and ideally even decentralize music royalties. And then after we'd already done some great work in other NFTs, an NFT game that we launched, that once again, Joel was in there helping us out with that. That was the Kino quotes. So we cut our teeth on a few other NFT projects. But basically, Noble one day said to me, literally March last year, 2021, hey, what if we could launch an NFT series that connects up with music royalties? He really got my attention. And I was like, whoa, tell me all about it. So we just laid out the framework and began building out an ecosystem that would combine us buying real music royalties. So we went out and bought a catalog of Jay-Z, Beyonce, Justin Timberlake, Timbaland, literally platinum selling artists, bought their rights, and then connected up in a DeFi smart contract, the earnings of them. Now, that has come to fruition as well right now. So we've had 12 months of earnings on that catalog. So what's coming out? We've got 2 parts to the business. And I know it's a lot to take in, but basically the first half is earning passively on music royalties. That's bandroyalty.com. And you guys got those BR1 NFTs. That's where you get to buy one of, there's only 3,000, and you'll start earning on that catalog of Jay-Z, Beyonce, etc. And so yeah, pop over here and have a look, guys. So that's what's coming out, and we are launching the full integration of the staking of those NFTs this month. But even potentially more exciting is if you go to bandnfts.com. So pull up bandnfts.com, and that is going to be, that's the other half, which is where musicians come and launch the first ever multi-track music NFTs. So you just need to connect up to the Ethereum mainnet there. So that's, as you can see, launching on April 21st. So you asked, what are we excited about? Well, we're excited about rewarding our early investors with the last 12 months of earning on our music catalog, point 1. Point 2, the launch of the world's first multi-track music NFT platform.
Very cool. And
so,
I'm sure this has all been pretty much smooth sailing for the past year. No hiccups, glitches, or groundbreaking
you want the dirt
stuff that you've got to do. I mean, I'm sure you mostly did this from the beach in Puerto Rico with Joel sipping pina coladas or something. Yeah, right?
You got it, man. No. Actually, though, it's been a lot of crazy work, and a lot of it actually even from a legal perspective. And I, as like Joel was just talking about, working with Sly, etc., and making sure that everything is legit. Like you could imagine, we're dealing with some top tier artists here, major celebrities. So it's a perfect segue into everything that Joel was just talking about. Here we are, and there's kind of 2 halves to the business again, to Band Royalty. The first half is not actually seeking permission. We just buy the royalties. We buy. Beyonce's not part of Band Royalty, not yet. No, neither Jay-Z or Timbaland or anything. We had Justin Timberlake. We had their offices ringing us up. Sony was ringing us up saying, what on earth are you guys doing? How are you doing this? And then when they saw that we owned the contract, the literal real world contract to these tracks that you can see here, these platinum selling tracks, they couldn't do anything. So that's permissionless. We buy royalties and you earn passively on them through the NFT staking. Boom. But the other side, which is just coming out now, is the BandNFTs. where any of these artists or any artist can come to us, like you're seeing here. And why don't you just play? Like click on Andy Case, click on that. And there's 2 tracks. And yes, they're the same song, but one's a radio edit without the swearing. But just click it.
Okay, let me make sure I'm sharing my audio here then so you can hear it. Here we go.
Please don't call me crazy. I'll take this the wrong way, but this life, it doesn't faze me. Not sure what to say, but sometimes when
It's like real music happening right there.
Real music. And then if you click the next one, just to get the actual effect, it's the same track without the swearing.
Please don't
So
call me
what is
crazy.
super cool here is you're seeing this mashup of Spotify and OpenSea. No one has ever seen an NFT like this, where embedded in this is actually the multi-track, and it works on OpenSea. We've made this fully interoperable. We're going to geek out here for a minute with the ERC7 NFTs. Actually, this one's an 11. No, hang on. Is it the 1155? Yeah, it's an 1155. So we've already actually. This is coming out tonight, midnight. This is being launched tonight. And so there's only going to be 777 of these. And Andy Case has got 1.4 million subscribers on YouTube. So what is interesting with this is that they're going to only be 0.03 ETH, which is about $100. So why we think BandNFTs is such a cool business is that we don't have to go out and get the customers, do we? Just think about every musician, and the next one, he's got 5 million. So what starts happening here with each musician doing a drop and letting their fan base know. And as Joel was saying in the previous segment about the onboarding, many people say they think NFTs are going to be the onboard into this. But basically, these fans of the musicians, they are going to be onboarding into this, hopefully, through BandNFTs, which is, again, interoperable with all the other NFT marketplaces.
So when people want to go to listen to these tracks, do they need to be listened to on the Band platform for the?
Just click it. Just have another click. You can see the track there. You can play any of these. So
when it comes to the royalty portions of things, the royalties are coming in from the plays on all sorts of platforms as well, right? Spotify, YouTube, like whatever, correct, wherever royalties come in. So, or depending on the particular contract you have, I guess.
Yeah. So I just want to separate that. What these are just digital collectibles. Mm-hmm. What you're seeing here, these are not actually, you don't access the royalties with these, mm-hmm. Okay? Not yet. So this is basically, we're pushing out to market something brand new. Now, we're separating also the listing of music from music as a tradable digital instrument. So you can go listen to music for free now. That's why the artists, I mean, basically people don't really realize that artists are making less than 12% of all the revenue. And you have to get 40 million plays on Spotify earns you $2,000. That's it. And so what were platinum selling multi-million-dollar deals last century are now a couple of $1,000s. So most artists are actually doing it really tough. And what this does is it opens up the doorway to an entirely new product. Most of these musicians have never sold a physical item, not even merch. So musicians are so into just basically making music now and doing concerts. That's how they make their money. But here they have the first time in a decade, an actual product that is music that they can sell as a collectible. And if they launch just, let's say 1,000 or 10,000, depending upon the size of their fan base, they could sell out. Now, we're building this whole thing out as obviously royalties are going to be coming in. But for right now, think of them as purely a collectible item, very similar to, let's say, the Sly Stallone collection, where basically you are a fan of Andy Case, or you're smart and you're like, well, there's 1.4 million plus fans. What if I get one of these couple of hundred, there's only 700 of these NFTs. Maybe those fans might want one. And what happens if I snap it up before them because they don't know how to do crypto yet?
Dude, there's so much goodness built into this, man. When you say, I wanted to ask also, when you say multi-track, NFTs, like, what do you mean by that?
Well, you know how, like, you can put up an album on this with 10 tracks. Okay. Now you look at any other, I mean, there are obviously other music NFTs out there. Kings of Leon sold millions of dollars last year in their first album. But when you go and have a listen to their album, it's one file. They have to be an MP3 or an MP4, typically an MP4 with a visual, but it's one file. So how are you going to skip through the tracks on one of those NFTs? You can't. So I'm sure that, of those 10 tracks in that album, 2 or 3 of them are going to be your favorites. You don't want to listen to the others. So you're going to want to skip through them. The only place you'll be able to do that is on BandNFTs.
Nice, man. So much cool stuff, dude. It's amazing how you guys have evolved here over the last year. I got to ask, so you're an entrepreneur. You've led a number of different projects over the years. I'm curious, what was the inspiration for this kind of iteration of, band royalty, right? Which was, it's a very different foundation, but very much so related, obviously, to what BandNFTs are.
Yeah, so that basically came about through our whole team, and which included our legal team. So what really started happening was that for us to pay out on the music royalties, we're just going to get into a couple of minutes to answer your question on the tokenomics, because we've built out an entire music ecosystem with tokens. So to pay you out for the first version of the music royalty earnings on the catalog, you're earning them in the governance tokens, right? So we couldn't actually pay you out in cash or Bitcoin or Ethereum. Otherwise, they might be considered a security, okay? So when we realized that, we had to build out a governance token that you could only earn through the staking of the BR1 NFTs, where there's only 3,000 from last year. And then because of that, we were like, well, what else are we going to, we can keep launching our own NFTs, but we saw that there was going to be this need for artists to come on board. And that's why we launched the royalty token, the fungible token. So the royalty token is going to be the currency of music, where you'll be able to trade, buy, sell, and stake the royalty tokens on the BandNFTs platform to further support the artist, but also to support yourself. Because last year we realized that there was a way to have a token that you staked on the platform where you earn on every trade. Who do we see do that? LooksRare. And they did that vampire attack on OpenSea. And OpenSea never launched their own token. So the $200 million per day on OpenSea trading, and they're keeping the 2.5%, the 5 million plus per day. OpenSea gets all that. LooksRare is sharing that with the token holders. Well, we're doing that as well with the royalty token. So we basically had to think through, how can we reward our fan base of the community with artists launching, with multi-track innovation? And that's how we built out the whole token system, so the ecosystem. So
that's so rad.
Very, very, very cool. Joel, anything to add, man, is from an advisory perspective, working with these cats?
I got to tell you, I've worked with a lot of people, and I am not blowing smoke here when I say I have seen Barnaby and Noble work harder than any other pair to bring massive value. I mean, I'm super excited about this project. They're pioneering with what they're doing here, and I think they're kicking ass. Not being a financial advisor here, but there's no doubt to me that music and NFTs is going to be massive. And I'm betting on this particular horse. I think these guys are going to help lead the way.
Yeah,
Thanks
man,
so much,
definitely an amazing take on it. The multi-track support, how that works, just the entire function of it, it feels very different from any other music project that we've seen in the NFT space. And you said drop in today officially.
Yeah, it's dropping in. So head over there to BandNFTs and register on the site. I'm just thrilled to be part of it. And also, we can't say any other big names, but there are some very big names in the queue. We've listed out the next 9 artists that are launching, but some of them coming out have fans in the tens of millions. And you just start thinking through what happens when they start launching. And that's not even the really big guys yet. What happens when they tell in their inner circle, the people who've got 200, 300 million fans, and they want to do their launch and their drop, and they realize that we're the only place to do the multi-track, and they realize they can get the governance tokens to control where we're spending to buy more music catalogs, and the royalty token staking, so that everybody starts earning. Anyway, I'll leave it to your imagination where this can go.
So yeah, we're super excited and appreciate all the work you put in here. Before we wrap here, we want to make sure everybody knows what are the next steps to get involved. We skirted around a little bit, referred to this or that, but where should we send people to get to know more?
Great. Well, go over to BandNFTs to register your email so that you can see what's the next drop. Every week from now on is a new musician drop every week. So, and once we start selling out on those, then there'll be 2 a week and then 5 a week. So head over to bandnfts.com, go over to bandroyalty.com as well, and just check out the whole platform. And if you feel inspired and you want to see if you can still secure one of the 3,000 foundation NFTs to start earning the governance tokens and collect some of those, buy up some of those royalty tokens, so you can start earning on the whole platform and the staking. So that's what I'm saying. So just register your email, dive into, we've got so much material. Here's the thing, we have tried to make it as simple as possible. The music industry is actually really complex. It's all behind closed doors. We're trying to educate, show people how it works, and most importantly, reward the artists who are missing out and reward their fans. So we just loved it. And it's a community effort. We're going to build this out as DAO, so all of you can participate, and let's all just make money with music and support the people who are actually making the music.
Yeah, man. 100% aligned with you, Barnaby. Thanks for sharing with us. Killer hot topic, guys. Go check it out. BandNFT, Band Royalty. We're big supporters as well. And we think you'll be a big fan once you learn more. So thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. Okay. Well, that's good stuff, guys. Man, what a show overall. So much goodness baked into these projects. We talked to a lot of folks, and I think the utility side of both of these projects and everything we've talked about today is really taking things to another level. We're on this utility train, man, and it's left the station, and so many cool things are happening and iterating just as quickly as the space overall has iterated. So, man, kudos to building that into these projects, fellas. So before we break overall for the show, we also wanted Joel to give you a chance to let folks know where to learn more about Planet Sly, as well as your individual socials and any other places people go to follow what you're up to, man.
Sure. Appreciate you guys having me on today. PlanetSLY.com is the website. The link to the Discord is there, but if you want to go direct, discord.gg/PlanetSLY, at PlanetSLY NFT on the Twitters and Instagram, and make sure you follow the official Sylvester Stallone account there. You'll see that he is verified. And if you want to connect with me, at Joel Comm, and of course, check out the Bad Crypto Podcast or the Nifty Show, or maybe both.
Check it all out, and amazing stuff, big inspirations for us as well. So yeah, thanks so much. And also, I think for our listeners, we talked about doing a little giveaway. And I think we got a little info on that. Josh, did you want to give the deets on that one?
Yeah, this is amazing. So we are giving away a few Slys to some lucky listeners. If I'm not mistaken, is that correct, Joel?
Yeah, I can't recall exactly what we said, but somewhere in my email is
there at least two.
I think
at least two. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Not that we haven't done these contests before, but it's going to be a really special giveaway, and you're going to want to stay tuned to our social for that. And especially if you've missed out, if these things sell out, you'll have a chance to get it through us. And we really appreciate the opportunity, Joel, that you're giving our fans there. Thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely super excited about that one. And word on the street is a late entry into our giveaway opportunities. Barnaby coming through with an Andy Case multi-track NFT. Brother, you want to tell anything else about this giveaway?
Well, we just know it's going to be hotly sought after, because typically people in crypto, if you think about it, and Joel was pointing this earlier, like it's the first obs that collect the attention. Those crypto punks, they were the first ones. They had to give them away. Nobody wanted them. And then we have the crypto kitties, and obviously with each iteration, but basically there is some clout to the first evers. Well, this will be the first ever multi-track NFT. So, and we know that there are some people even on this call I'm talking to right now, they're like, yeah, make sure I get one of those. Thanks very much. So we want to give your listeners one as well, because, you never know where these things are going to go. Historically, that's what crypto is all based upon, is typically is the first of.
For sure.
Keep in mind, there's less than 777 now available.
That's right. Well, cool. Guys, again, pay attention to our socials, please. We'll give you all the deets on there about how to get one of these bad boys. Fellas, thanks again for your generosity with that. Okay, well, I think we've reached the outer limit at the edge of NFTs for today. So thanks for exploring with us. We've got space for more adventures on this starship. So invite your friends and recruit some cool strangers that will make this journey all so much better. How? Go to Spotify or iTunes right now, rate us and say something awesome. Then go to edgeofnft.com to dive further down the rabbit hole. Lastly, be sure to tune in next time for more great NFT content. Thanks again for sharing this time with us today.
The views and opinions expressed on the Edge of NFT podcast reflect solely those views and opinions of the show creators and its guests.
We're learning as we go, just like you. Please make sure to do your own research. Our podcast is not financial advice. There are multiple strategies and not all strategies fit all people. You understand that you are using any and all information available on or through this podcast at your own risk.